Hello, YG Guna back again with another one. Hey, yo, this is a civilization video. Hey, yo, first of all, before I get started, yeah, I've got 50 subscribers. Now, to me, that's a lot. That's a lot for me, you get me? And so I just want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all that have subscribed. Because to me, that's a lot, you feel me? I appreciate each and every one of you. You dig? Um, for all 50 of y'all, I would appreciate if we can try and start building something here. Y'all stop leaving comments inside the thing. You get me? Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you like, because y'all mean a lot to me. So I want to give y'all what you like. You get me? So let me know what you like. You feel me? Now, burn all that soft thing. You feel me? Burn all that softness. Let's get into Civ. This game, yeah, Civilization 7. I will tell you, I have looked at some stuff. It is. I have no idea what the hell's going on with this thing. That's why I'm kind of what's the word called? I kind of don't want to buy it right away. I want to wait, look at what people are doing, and digest the information slowly. Then buy it later on and play it later on. But what I'm thinking is that maybe I will buy it and discover how to play the game with y'all. Yeah, um, yeah. And look, found a video, White and Nerdy TV. I've watched his stuff before on Civ. He knows what he's doing. You get me? He knows what he's doing. I watched him do. Although it was late, I watched him in like a kind of Civ tournament, and he won the thing pretty easily. It was really fun to watch as well. But like I do with every YouTuber, I like the video right away. Now let's get into this. You get me? I think I'm just gonna do the bit. I'll do the first kind of bit where you talk up to maybe turn one. We'll see how it flows. We'll see how it flows.
Full release of Sid Meier's Civilization 7 in less than a month on February 11th. There's a lot to cover. So let's jump
let's
to the
skip
video,
that.
so subscribe so you don't miss that. There's some big changes for Civ 7, making transformational moves defining it from previous Civilization titles. The biggest change in Civ 7 is the introduction to the new age system. Each Civ has been placed into one of three broader ages: the Antiquity Age, the Exploration Age, and the Modern Age. The Antiquity Age is when the agricultural societies began to cluster into urban centers, forming the foundations of civilizations, as well as the wars and conquests with neighbors.
Stonehenge. If you're a Marvel fan, Namor.
Over the Middle Ages, when civilizations began to look outward, beyond their starting conflict.
Ragnar Lothbrok.
Began to industrialize, spawning rapid advancement in technologies, solving some issues, but also creating more global.
Nicholas Tesla. The atomic bomb. Now let's move.
Antiquity, the Ming Dynasty in exploration, and finally the Qing Dynasty in the modern
Wait.
age. All three the Ming from different dynasties for each age. For example, you can play as the Han Dynasty in Antiquity, the Ming Dynasty in exploration, and finally the Qing Dynasty in the modern age. All three major chapters of what we think of as China today. But if you look through history, most civilizations have not actually stood the test of time in this way. For instance, the Roman Empire famously collapsed at the end of Antiquity. But the cities and the people didn't just disappear. They separated, fought, reorganized, and formed new civilizations as time went on, including the Normans, who went on to conquer their own lands, to rise and then fall again to other civilizations, like the Franks, who transitioned into the French Empire. With civilizations specific to certain...
Okay, I know I skipped a little bit into the video, but we're in 2 minutes 41. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe it's just going over my head, but I have no idea what's going on. This is a game, so like it's like, how do I explain it? When playing Civilization 6, it's very obvious to me, yeah, that Cleopatra and the way her thinking and her philosophies did not like, come on, I'm living inside a modern era. I know what modern Egypt looks like. It's obvious that her teachings did not flow through the test of time. There were some parts of it that did, there were some parts of it that didn't. What I'm trying to get at here is, what is this? What is all of this? Anyways, this is me learning, okay? This is how I learn. Like, if y'all don't know, this is how I tend to learn how to play some games, right? Strategical games. I like to watch people do, then do myself, make mistakes, then do.
Ages, this allows the developers to get very specific with the civilizations that they pick. We've already shown that you can highlight how a civilization has changed through time. For instance, modern day India, with its many dynasties having different game bonuses to highlight different priorities during different periods of time. But also you can choose to have a civilization that may not have had as much as a global impact on all of a history, but was impactful to a smaller part of the world for a short period of time. Even though you'll be evolving civilizations throughout the game, it's often very important in video games to keep certain consistencies throughout the game. The most important is the avatar, the leader you chose to be, as well as the faces of the neighbors you form relationships with, whether they be attachments or resentments throughout the game. So if you're friendly with your neighbor Hatshepsut because of your amazing cultural exchanges, and you hate your neighbor Xerxes because he stole your city, these leaders and your memories of each other will follow you into the next age. That does create interesting situations, of course, because if instead of eating poisonous figs, your immortal Augustus leads the crumbling Roman Empire into a new day, transitioning from emperor to king of the Normans, and then pushes that kingdom until you're emperor again, but under the French Empire. It's different for sure, yes, but it's Civ. Last week I was Teddy Roosevelt building the pyramids in 400 BC on the continent of Antarctica. But of course that means you'll have certain games where you want to play as Benjamin Franklin, who leads America, which is a modern era Civ, so if you're going to play starting in the antiquity, then the game will suggest that you start with ancient Greece. This might feel weird at first, but remember Benjamin Franklin was a political philosopher and founding father to one of the biggest democracies in the world, and took a lot of inspirations from the philosophers and the political structure of ancient Greece. So if Benjamin Franklin happened to be an immortal being that's been alive since the beginning of time, it's a pretty good bet you could find him in ancient Greece. Between this and...
Wait, one second. Yeah, I need to... I've watched 15 to 20 gameplay video. This was one of the best. You did very good in the sub. I watched a lot of Civilization 7 last week, and it's one of the reasons very okay. Fantastic pace, great to watch. God tier explanation of all the changes. Thank you. Helped me to decide to pre-order. Looking amazing. Great video. As someone who's only finished one game for every 50 I've started, I think splitting this game into 3 eras is genius. Okay.
Civilization 7 branching out from just having leaders that were political.
So people are okay with all of this. People are okay with all of this. Okay, some guy doing history lessons. Thanks for this. The first video I heard, the pop requirement of 5 to be able to build settlers looks like a good information here. So glad I watched the video. Very well aware of the changes that the video, and great video showing the streamline changes and comeback features without just talking about numbers getting hyped. The game looks gorgeous, and I love the tiles and animations, and the reveal of the map does it look better than actually playing the game. How do I build a preserve in Civ 7? Wait, I have to look at this. Hey man, improvements on natural wonders are called Expedopian bases, giving you the sweet wonder yields. So you can't build a preserve. That's funny.
Heads of state, to other types of leaders, whether they're military officers and diplomats, writers and philosophers, cultural and religious leaders, to scholars and travelers, all of which influence not only the civilization that they were from, but their neighboring civilizations and civilizations to come. Because of this, some of these transitions may feel more natural than immediately assumed, but maybe I can jump into an actual game here from the very beginning and help you decide on that for yourself.
Thank you.
You'll notice quite immediately as soon as we load up a game here that because Civilization focuses on these distinct separate ages, we actually have quite a few unique units and buildings here, which I can't wait to just jump into. Here we are, turn 1 on the very first spawn that I rolled. I'm going to go ahead. There is a couple of options here to turn on the yield icons, because I know you guys are going to want to see this. One of the first things that you'll notice is there's quite a bit differences with how yields are spread out through tiles. No longer are desert tiles worthless. Desert tiles actually give production. Grassland give food, as well as there's a bunch of different types of terrain types that are new. We have grassland, plains, desert, tropical, and tundra, but each biome has
Tropical is
various
just
regions,
rainforest, right?
including floodplains, forest, marsh,
Okay.
savanna, woodlands, watering holes, sagebrush steppe, oasis, rainforest, mangrove swamp, taiga, tundra bog, and aquatic, as of course flat, rough river, mountains, coasts, and ocean tiles.
Okay.
As the step says, terrain and biomes provide some natural yields, but the majority of your yields will be coming from tile improvements boosted by the technologies that you research. That generally means that you won't be rolling for perfect spawns and getting 2 food to production tiles all the time anymore.
I like that,
Instead,
though.
you'll be able to make do with whatever you roll pretty much every time. You do still want to settle on freshwater. The freshwater bonus does not give housing because there is no housing in Civ 7. What it does, it gives you a happiness bonus. Our first unit here, the Founder, is your first settler that is in charge of founding your capital city. Founders will found capitals. Settlers later on will found towns. Because we spawned on a river with a few resources nearby,
Towns.
I'm just going to go ahead and settle in place. You can see the capital has a fantastic palace and looks amazing. I can click right over here to bring up the city details, and you can see very quickly that the palace provides 5 food, 5 production, and 5 happiness. And Rome gets +1 culture on every district in the capital. You notice we didn't spawn with a unit. The game actually gives us agency to make the decision ourselves. It actually lowers the cost of your first unit to 1 production, so you actually can build a warrior or a scout for your particular playstyle. Scouts are much, much better than...
This is the first thing that I've seen that's made sense to me. And now, after the intro, and we're getting into the actual video, I understand the comment section. I'm like I'm grasping it better. So like when you've explained, like, or should I say White and Nerdy, when White and Nerdy explained the first part, I was confused. My brain was fried. But then when the gameplay started going through and I'm seeing all of these things, I'm like, I can see it, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. And I do remember in my actual playthrough, like this Marcus Aurelius stream, I did say I would prefer it if they let me choose what I started with. Being able to start off with a scout or a warrior, I'm being dead serious. I'm choosing a scout every single time. Like real talk. I don't know if it's better. I don't know. But I'm choosing a scout. And the reason why is because in the very beginning, they give you that policy that allows you to fight barbarians with more, like with 5+. You fight barbarians with 5+. You can't fight barbarians without that 5+. So why do I need a warrior right away? I need to be able to survey the lands and look at wonders and, get my Stonehenge up. Which, yeah, let's get back into this.
Civ 6 and Civ 5. The first thing great about them is that they just ignore vegetation straight up. You don't need a promotion to be able to get that bonus. They can just run straight through the trees. Because, of course, it's like one guy and his dog. Movement's been changed slightly in Civ 7. Instead of rough terrain costing more movement points, what it does, it just completely ends all your movement. So if you, like, walk into a water tile, you will end your movement, but scouts can at least walk into vegetation without losing their movement. You can see one of our first choices now is to pick a technology, and you'll notice quite immediately that the tech tree does branch out, but it is
wait, let me go back. Let's wait.
Technology, and you'll notice...
First of all, the UI is rubbish. Okay? It's rubbish. This does not look good. Is it me or it doesn't? It looks shit. I don't know who did this, but you need to... This is a game. When I look at it, I want to see color. There's no color here. It's rubbish. Okay, let me get that out the way. The UI is rubbish. Now, I like this. Having too much options at the beginning is bad. and what I mean by that is that again, I can't hover over this and see exactly what agriculture is. I can only go by what I think it is based off how it was before. And I do believe it will be able to like harvest rice, harvest maize, harvest barley, right? And from there, wherever you've spawned, you can branch out. So if you spawned, I don't know what the luxury resources are. If you spawn next to ivory, bees or whatnot, you can go add them on husbandry. if you spawn next to what do you use pottery even for? Yeah, I don't know what you use. I can't remember. It's late. But if you spawn next to a riverbank or the ocean, you can get sailing up and running right away. I like that. Now, integration, masonry. Where is so sailing and navigation, would that and what are these pluses? Oh, the pluses will be what the stars are, where it tells you the extra things it allows you to do, or the extra technologies it allows you to receive. I like this tree. I don't like the UI.
Quite immediately that the text tree does branch out, but it is very short in terms of what we're
Wait, what? Wait, navigation's here.
used to, because the tech trees are all unique in each era, meaning that if you have enough science,
I'm understanding why the man them in the comment section are saying that this man explained this properly, because it makes sense to me now. If okay, you start off the game and you get Thomas Edison, yeah, and you want to jet through, or you want to navigate your way through the tech tree in a particular way that he helps you do it. This is only for one era, because it's for one era. Correct me if I'm wrong. You'd want the best person for that era to navigate this to get what you need from it, or in general, because it's like each era just matters.
You can make
for
it
each
to
era.
the end of the tech tree and start hitting future era. This will actually give you bonuses, so it is still useful to focus in on science. You can see here we're getting extra wildcard attribute points if you hit the future tech, as well as advancing the era even faster. So you can beeline science to push the era, or you can actually double back and focus on these masteries, which will actually give you extra bonuses to certain technologies. For instance, writing is where you get the basic technology building, the library, which gives you
Wait, sorry, I can see what it says here and I want to read it. Library, bonus yield, +2 science, +1 for each adjacent resource, +1 for each adjacent wonder. Has 2 codex slots, antiquity science building, great steed, 200 gold when you are constructing a wonder in this settlement, including this one, ageless. Ooh.
Science, but if
yeah,
you
we're gonna
unlock the
I
mastery
think we're
for
gonna play
writing,
this together.
you can get a free codex as well as science on these buildings. In terms of our first technology, I immediately see that we have an ivory tile here, so having access to animal husbandry will help us with the improvements we want to make in the game. Note, tile improvements are available from the very start of the game. You can still make camps before researching animal husbandry, but finishing animal husbandry will give you +1 production on those camps, as well as access to a building called a saw pit, which gives you additional production on those camps.
We
Even
know
though it's
about
turn
saw
2,
pits.
our yields are significantly higher than they would be in, say, a Civ 6 game. It seems that even though our capital is not producing any science, you just have a baseline of 10 science and 10 culture per turn, as well as 5 gold per turn and 10 influence points per turn. This is the much improved version of diplomatic favor from Civ 6 and is way more influential in the game. But the capital of Roma, of course, is working 5 food, 5 production, and 1 culture with 5 happiness. That is, of course, just the yields on the city center tile, but to be clear, to not include the yields of unimproved tiles in our city borders. You can see scouts and warriors are the same amount of production cost. It is 30 production, but I'm going to go ahead and build a warrior quickly. I'll send my scout out just a little bit further into these plains here onto this oasis tile, and it looks like we actually have our first goodie hut. There are several different types of goodie huts now. This one is called a luxurious encampment. You'll notice immediately iron is already revealed. There's no more iron griefing from unlocking strategic resources in your games. Each era has different strategic resources. So think about the Antiquity Age having access to iron and horses immediately. I'm sure the Exploration Age will introduce niter, and the Modern Age will probably be introducing coal as well as oil. You can see here we've actually grown to 2 pop already. You'll notice my city is still working 5 food, 5 production, 1 culture, even though it is at 2 population, because how cities work tiles has been completely reworked in Civ 7. Gone are the days of managing population and exactly which tiles that your cities are working, switching back and forth between food or production tiles, and also gone are builders and workers. No longer are you running these units around improving single tiles. They have done this to reduce micromanagement, and if you take a look at anyone's Civ 6's Hall of Fame, you know the most popular unit is always the builder, just because you got to build so many of them. Now things have been simplified. Every time you grow a population, you will now assign that population to a different tile to work. For instance, we can go ahead and place the population on top of this ivory tile, giving our city 1 food, 1 culture, 1 happiness, as well as access to an ivory resource. That immediately builds the camp on this tile, as well as culture bombs all surrounding tiles. We now have 6 food, 5 production, 2 culture, and 6 happiness, because we are working these 2 tiles. Now, the goody huts in Civ 7 are actually...
As a Manor Lord, as the Manor Lord, what I understood from that is the basis of when you get a new family that moves in Manor Lords, you can then assign them to a job. And because you have 2 population, you have assigned the new population you got onto the encampment. That's what I understood from it. And again, I will just credit White and Nerdy TV for his beautiful explanation. The intro video tripped me out a bit and fried my brain, but as we're getting into the game and you're explaining, I'm understanding quite a bit. I'm gonna let it play for a little bit longer. I think I'm gonna have to split this up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to split this up.
So great. Dare I call them Grady Huts? I'm so sorry about that one. This brings up the new Goody Hut pop-up, which is way more detailed than they used to be and actually introduces a little bit of a narrative element. You can see here a party of noblemen has had a successful hunt. They instruct their servants to leave what they cannot carry, but there's no shortage of hungry mouths back home. So these noblemen have had a hunt and hunted too much food. So what we can do is we can take the excess game away from them, giving instant food and instant gold to our capital. Or we decide to not risk the conflict and you get actually a happiness bonus. But a happiness is a yield that is new to Civilization 6 players, but if you've played Civilization 5, it's actually very similar, but nowhere near as punishing as it was in Civ 5. There is, of course, local happiness, and happiness is required in each of your cities in order to upkeep your cities. The more you expand and build, the more happiness is required from your cities. And if your happiness ever goes negative, you get a penalty to your yields. But it's proportional. Okay. If you're only a little bit unhappy, you get a little bit of a penalty. But if it's very big, then it's very big. Okay. There's also happiness as a global resource. This is just the sum total of all of your excess happiness throughout your entire empire. Global happiness is what brings you to what is called a celebration. And we'll talk about celebrations in a little bit. But basically, if I grab the happiness, we'll come closer to a celebration. Right now, I just want the food and the gold because early food is really good. And I want to get to that 3rd population. So I'm just going to grab the gold and the food and immediately get to 3 population and then immediately get the chance to grow our city. I'm going to go ahead and...
See, that's what I was talking about. I'm going to leave it off at here. But this is what I was talking about when I was referencing being a Manor Lord. As I am. He's gained that population and now he's going to put that population into a tile. Just like when you gain a new family in Manor Lord, you then move that like family into a job, right? So you got your timber mill, so then you build your timber mill, your new pot family comes in, you put them on the saw pit in order for you to build your planks. In this, you have new family, you're like, yo, what do I want to be developed inside this city next, or increase the yields of in this city next? these are the options, and you put it there. That's what I understand. I'm gonna let it play for a little bit, then we're gonna end it over there.
And put my farm right here because it's going to culture bomb towards the silver tile and generate a nice, lovely farm here. We found our very first neighbor.
Wait, gosh. Just 1 second.
This is actually a independent power. Now, independent powers are basically if you took barbarians and you took city states and you mixed them.
No. We're leaving at this. I've watched 30 minutes of this video. I've put my commentary on it. You feel me? I applaud you if y'all want to watch or y'all want to play this game. I'm going to put White and Nerdy inside the description because, like I said, the first couple of minutes of the game of him explaining got me intimidated. But when he got into the actual game, I was like, yo, we can get this rolling. You feel me? Hey, Civilization 7, here we come. YEG Guna, you know how we do, baby. Peace.